think of the audio spectrum, everything you hear as like a spectrum, right? You could do it vertically or however you want. But it goes from high pitch noises to low pitch noises, from things that you can't hear that are too high to things that you can't hear that are too low, right? Like dogs can hear things that are really high. And then there's sub bass that you can feel, right? That's like really low, right? So if we think about it, there's like, you can think about it that you want as a producer, as someone playing with sound, to mess with filling that spectrum. That's what I think about a lot, right? So things within that spectrum, you don't want everything having all the different things, right? Unless you're trying to make noise and trying to make it muddy. You want to be able to control what frequencies come out of what boxes or what synthesizers or what programs in your computer, right? And there's this thing called a filter that's super helpful, and it's also super helpful for other things, but like dubstep or whatever. That sounds like a good one. Hey, you hear how you can barely hear it? You hear it a little? Okay, so imagine there's like this full spectrum of audio. Imagine it's like a square or something. And there's like this thing that's closing it, like a gate almost, right? So you can just hear this little bit of it, right? Does that make sense? So there's like this thing that's like closing in on it. And I have control right here with this knob, which is called cutoff. Of how much to open it. See, I'm opening it right now. And you might recognize this if you listen to electronic music. This is like what, right? During a build up or whatever. Here, let me make it more obvious. Okay. Okay. So, do you have an extra like computer power cable that I could use, like the 3-prong? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Filter. I feel like I didn't explain that very well. I'm using a really weird thing. Yeah, and they don't know about resonance. Thank you, that'll help. You always need to do drugs if you want to make electronic music. But if I turn the resonance down, okay.
Yeah.
Have you seen Ralph today? No, it's pretty potent. It's really potent. It's weed. It's weed. Be really careful. Don't do it. Okay, so you understand the cutoff at least, right? The cutoff is about here right now. I'm gonna open it up like that. Does that make sense? If you think about the audio spectrum as like, it's a waveform. You think of it as numbers. Okay. Cut off. What's the other parts of the filter? Usually it has the thing called resonance, which kind of focuses the like energy of the filter, right? How would you describe cut off or resonance? That's halfway. equalizer's gone, right? Pretty much.
Getting the low frequencies. Have to turn up the red notes. That's like concentrated. Like point where the filter is like cutting off the just those frequencies. So that's very
Yeah, those are really strong. Okay. Any questions on resonance? I know that was. I wish we could bust out the modular. I think we can later maybe. I just want to do some stuff quick. All right. So this is an Electron analog rhythm. Probably the best drum machine
What would you recommend
that
for,
there
like,
is.
starting out?
Okay.
Yeah. Would you recommend
What kind of
that?
no? What kind of space would you have? Well, yeah, if you have $700, yeah. That's true. That's a good advice, but it kind of depends on what you want to go into, right? So, if you wanna make like electronic music that people can DJ in a club, then probably just use Ableton, because it's gonna cost like thousands. Like I'm not even at that point with all this gear. I still need like more money.
How much was that?
I got this for 700, but they're
Okay.
like
new. They're like
$2,000 or something.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, then never mind then.
These are good though. These are like kind of the standard I feel for what I do.
just finding what I need.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Is that a controller?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I want
Do you have a DAW in your computer or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure which one to download, and I'm like not great at the
Yeah.
computer stuff.
So nowadays there's a lot of really good like synthesizers you could get.
Me.
Yeah. There's a lot of good like I don't know, like there's been a lot of technological leaps since I've been a kid.
Yeah.
And so things that were like really expensive when I was a kid are like $100 or $200 now. So I'd say like just look into Behringer or like the Roland Aria series, right? I mean, that's a good place to start as any.
Are you talking like tutorials?
No, as far as like if you wanted to get hardware to work with for like $100, $200,
What would it be full again?
the brand would be Behringer.
Behringer? Okay.
Yeah, and they make like copies of like most of the gear that is out there.
Also,
you know?
like any synthesizer would work too, or
Yeah.
because like, God, before my cousin died, he had a really cool synthesizer, but I think my aunt and uncle threw it out.
Aw, that sucks. Yeah, like you can get a copy-ish thing of like this thing that I have here for like 150, $200 through Behringer. It just kind of depends on what direction you want to go, and you can always text me or something and ask me. But I mean, the best is what you can get your hands on, and then I would just kind of look on YouTube. Yeah, there's the Behringers are chill and cheap, and then what else would be? Oh yeah, the Rolands, the Arias.
I'm my friend, Coco. We're trying to start like a digital hardware for it called Terra Twins. So. Oh, that's
Cool.
it.
So now I want to show y'all sequencing.
Just adjusting.
Do y'all see my beautiful analog rhythm?
Yeah.
So these are all drum pads. Stop looking at it. These are all drum pads and stuff. And then down here, you see how the light is going through, like almost like a video game, or like you're at Chuck E. Cheese or whatever.
Yeah.
You see that? So usually when you're sequencing, at least like everything's kind of based in this game off of like the old machines, which were just kind of designed like erratically. And so most things will have this kind of sequencer that I believe is called an EXO sequencer. It's really fun and easy to work with. And so if you get what's called a groove box, that's what I recommend if you're trying to like get into making things, because it'll have drums and other things like and synthesizers or samplers, right? So it's going boop 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 boop. And if I put a note in, it's gonna hit there. You see how that works, right? So like, you know, you have genres that you want to do, like that's 4/4, you know, or take some out, right? So that's great. That's in all the DAWs, and you'll have to know that. Let's see what else. Here's the decay down, right? So it's gone like. Okay, look at this document. Okay, we're doing good on time, kind of. Okay. Mixing, mixer, MIDI. Okay, MIDI. Anyone heard of MIDI?
No.
Okay, cool. It's MIDI time. So on this, there's like a little circular thing on a lot of gear that's called MIDI, and it's this beautiful, awful protocol.
Oh, I know what yeah, I call it MIDI.
Yeah, and it was invented in like the mid '80s, late '80s, in order for all these different machines
Wasn't it invented
to
by
talk to
Turbo?
each other. Probably, yeah. Because it can send note data between synthesizers, right? So remember how I was saying ADSR? This will send that information between synthesizers. It'll send the note that you're playing. It'll send just a bunch of kind of like esoteric signals. You can be like, send this. Yeah, anyway, you don't have to get that far into it. But in order to use your computers, you're going to have to understand that like what she has there is called a MIDI controller. Even if it's not really using this, it's just sending. They still use the MIDI protocol within Ableton and within all your computer programs. You won't really need to know what MIDI is. You'll just be interacting with it. But it's good to know what it is, especially if you're going to get into hardware and stuff and synthesizers, because it's the way that they talk to each other. For example, like when I play my shows and I have this in another box, sometimes they're synced so that they're all in the correct time through MIDI. And that's just one thing MIDI can do. Eventually I'm gonna write my songs in such a way that one of my boxes is sending the note information to this box or vice versa. So I can have a song playing on this box and have it triggering a synthesizer in another box, right? And so that's how like most anything from the 80s through until like 2005 or 7 was made in a studio. Like everything, like any sort of like soundtrack or like anything, you know, it was like in this crazy studio with hella MIDI, with like a patch bay of like MIDI stuff going to all these crazy synthesizers, right? Now you have all that power in your computer or in something like this almost. So it's pretty cool. Pretty cool time to get into this. And yeah, so that's MIDI. And I feel like that's almost all I needed to go over. I want to go over an LFO, but I don't have a great way to go about it. Do you have an LFO? Y'all want to know about digital versus analog?
Yeah.
Okay. So digital, it has the word digit in it, right? So analog, we live in an analog world, right? We can't see spirits or whatever, you know, who knows what's out there, right? All sorts of spectrums of light and sound and probably other stuff that I don't know about. Particle physics, dimensions, you know, who knows? It can't be captured into something discrete, right? Is that the right use of that word. It's, think of film, right? You're burning light waves to a medium in order to get an image. Think about a cassette tape. You're burning the audio waves in the air or in a cable onto a medium in order to replay it, right? It's an actual reproduction of that moment in a yeah, there's more shades of gray, if that makes sense, right? And then digital involves digits, right? Ones and zeros. Think of a computer, and think of like, yeah. Think of there we go. Think of like a computer, ones and zeros, like it either is or it isn't, right? So the ones and zeros are used to make up a representation of what's going on, okay? Whereas the analog, like, kind of is almost more directly what's going on. For example, this entire box is manipulating, well, with the exception of like one or two things, is power, right? So it's basically taking power itself from the wall and it's using it to power various things that are manipulating, dividing, multiplying, converting the power into an audio signal and back again, all these kinds of things, mixing different power signals and different audio signals, which is just power, because speakers are just moving air, right? And so what we give the speaker moves the speaker, which moves the air, which moves our eardrum, okay? So this is just like shaping power to move your eardrum, right? And that's analog. And then digital is shaping numbers in order to like kind of approximate what something would sound like, or create new things that can't even exist within like the realms of the physical, or within the realms of electronics, without kind of like a computer brain of some sort. Let's see what else. Oh, one time someone explained it to me like this: analog would be a waterfall, and digital would be like if you had a drawing of a waterfall that had like staircase ladders to go down it, but there's so many ladders that it looks like a waterfall. It looks the same to your eyes, right? People argue back and forth, does it look the same to your soul? Or like, is it somehow worth it to have analog versus a computer that models it, right? That's something that you probably shouldn't think about for like years if you're trying to get into this, because it's really expensive to get analog stuff now, and it's not really that worth it, in my opinion. But we're also thinking about the spectrum of sound, right? So the spectrum of sound, you want a lot of different sounds. You want things to stand out. You want your kick drum to stand out. You want your whatever to stand out, right? It helps if you have one thing that's digital and one thing that's analog. They'll always stand out against each other, right? So that's good. And I think I've done everything I wanted to. Ralph, you want to take the stage? This is my good friend Ralph. They aren't even teaching. Liza, you want to go? Alright. Yeah. Don't try to kill him. Yeah, don't kill my students, or our students. Alright. There's going to be a mandatory test at the end of this. Drug test. So, does anyone have any questions for me? No? Do you want to know what DJing is? Okay. So, when I'm DJing, usually how I describe it is in the most simplest way. I have pre-recorded audio, and I'm mixing two or more sources of that together. Now, remember how I was talking about the field of audio? So I'm trying not to have things take up too much space together. So I'm not, unless I want it to sound really crazy, trying to have a kick drum and a kick drum together, right? Because that would be too much in this one slot. You can think of it as like a bunch of slots, right? And these are just rules that you can play with, but this is things that we all think about. So, yeah, that's what DJing is. I was going to have a discussion later that's kind of like almost like a Buddhist thing. What's the difference between DJing and sampling? And Ralph will explain to you what sampling is, and then just have that in mind, be mindful of that.
Does anybody happen to have a
That's okay. You want me to explain sampling a little? Okay. Does anyone know what sampling is?
Yeah.
Cool. So, I've been talking about synthesis, right? Where you're shaping power, or you're like kind of like you're essentially shaping a sound into what you want it to be, right? So sampling is something that came around a bit after synthesis, where you're actually recording the sound and then you're playing it back. And so like this device can sample. And it also can do something called sequencing, which I didn't really explain. And it sounds exactly how it sounds, sequencing, right? You want to create a sequence. That's going to be all your data that tells the synthesizer what to do and when, right? So when I press play, that's my sequence, right? It's sequencing the kick drum. It's telling the kick drum, go this way, go that way, do this, do that, at what time. It's telling the synthesizer what tempo to go at, tempo meaning speed, all sorts of things. Ralph, you ready? Alright, let's hear it for Ralph.
stretch?
Ha 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 ha.
When you use the pre-recorded
Yeah.
audio, is it your audio that you made or from other
Whatever you want to do. Like,
what do you prefer?
at this point, I don't care. I mean, I guess I prefer other people's stuff because I don't have to make it, and because there's a whole process we're not going to talk about this time called mixing and mastering, where you make everything sound really good and it's awful and it's fun. And so if you sample something, someone's already done that for you, and usually they've done it with a bunch of money behind it. If you're sampling something that's like professional, so they have gear that you don't have, they have skills that you don't have, so it's kind of nice.
It's like opening off the smart pitch homework.
Exactly,
How
yeah.
do you typically go to find?
Just if you're listening to something, right, and you like something, I really like to sample. I like to sample like jazz records when they have drum solos. A lot of solos, a lot of intros are really good for sampling because it'll only be this or that instrument or this vocal or that. I listen to a lot of like dub and reggae, so I'll sample a lot of their drum breakdowns or like solos.
Also, what like platform?
I guess, yeah, wherever.
Yeah, like any music.
Like literally just like you can find the sound, you can figure out how to record it into something else,
Yeah.
then just like record it.
Yeah. For example, what I do, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Records and stuff, and it just
No, we're introducing you.
Check.
Depends on what kind of music.
Is this thing on? Check.
What standards you want to have?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends on like what kind of
We all
sound
have
you're going
different
for.
standards.
I mean, ideally, if you're trying to make like
She has the
a
highest
song,
standards.
yeah, you want to find like a lossless wave or something for your like the samples that are gonna be your main elements, like your drums,
Yep.
synths and stuff. And there's like sample packs you can find that are like made for creating electronic music or any kind of music. So generally yes, but also you can like take an MP3 and make it sound better using like effects inside the software, like distortion and compression, EQ. And sometimes you actually want the crunchy sounds of the distortion, because actually like old school, like the MPC 1000 only had like a 12-bit sampler, so which isn't even like CD quality sound. So like that's how they got a lot of the like the really like crunchy fat like drums of like 90s hip hop, was like they would record into the sampler and actually record it at like kind of the red line level, and it would be like this kind of distinct crunchy sound. So oftentimes I'll like take a sound that might even be like a lossless sound and then use digital distortion to actually degrade the sounds again to get the specific like sound tonality I'm looking for. Especially drums, because when you actually reduce the bit rate, you're kind of like you make less space for like the volume in like the steps in the digital sound, and that makes it more loud, which is more good.
All right.
How does it work? Does it work? It works. It works. Okay, hi. So we talked about sampling. It all made perfect sense to everyone. I think if you're doing, like, if you think about music and recorded music and records and tapes existed before synthesizers. You could probably start an argument with that or whatever, but hip-hop is all about sampling. It is all about taking other people's records and turning them into loops and stuff. So we talked about synthesizers, which are basically like making sounds more or less from scratch or from the rawest materials possible. And with sampling, you could probably say that there's three kinds of sampling based on, like, if you're just going to steal a little tiny bit of somebody else's record, just enough for one drum hit or something, or one, like, sound of an instrument. And then maybe you have a medium bit where you're just going to steal, like, 4 bars to make a loop. And then you could have just steal the whole damn song and say it's yours. And so, broadly speaking, samplers will excel at one or the other of these kind of things. I would say, like, whatever we're looking at here is we're into tiny little samples. No particular amount of copyright violation being incurred here. Oh yeah, probably sharing. People wanna. The main thing you could leave here with is a copy of this flash drive, because then you go home with all the rad samples. And well, I put you on the spot. Well, if you're set up for that kind of thing,
you all have laptops out already. Just pass it around if you want.
Well, I mean, it's the fun of knowing other people who are into this hobby, is like trading data and stuff. So. Where are we at? Samples. Oh yeah. Okay, so before I ever knew anything about synthesizers or anything like that, I was pretty captivated with like Wu-Tang records and the Public Enemy records and the Aphex Twin records, and I was pretty interested in trying to figure out how to make music like that. And so I personally started making tape loops. And so you just sample other people's music. You could literally just sample it onto cassette tape or reel-to-reel tape and tape it up into a loop and make stuff that way. But I have since graduated to using this Roland 404 thing, which is a box. Basically, you could do whatever this does with a laptop. You get some software, and it's maybe these buttons are a little bit better than those buttons, but those buttons work pretty darn well, and this sampler will do the here. We turn this up a little bit. Where are we? There's some drum stuff. So it does that kind of stuff. And then just at any point you can stop me and I'll explain more better. But I mean, unless you actually own one of these, it doesn't matter. You can GarageBand or any kind of software, you can play around with sequencing drum hits and loops and things. I'm trying to find a loop. I don't. Is that a loop? Yeah. A loop. Yeah.
You could do exactly this. On the computer.
Yeah, actually, this is a great place. Like, maybe when we're done, we can do some kind of skill share and help you set up your software. Yeah. Actually, my ADD makes doing stuff like that pretty difficult. I would say that, like, updating the firmware is one of the more difficult things to do in this, and just reading the damn manual and not, like, falling asleep. Making a beat? Sure. Well, I'm gonna jump forward and be like, oh, here's some loops. Actually, yeah, I'll just jump to the end and play some loops of some drum beats that I made. So here I'm really just sampling myself. Maybe here I sampled like some other box or something, but literally you can just sample like only for a game to sample your phone. Shut up. You got something on your laptop?
Let me get something open. Okay, where are you? Sorry, there you are. Yeah. Yeah.
I have audio clips on my computer that
There we go.
are okay.
Sorry, my laptop is like.
You can just sample this too out of the speakers.
It's coming.
Oh,
There you go.
like other things.
Sorry, my laptop is like. It's coming.
Oh, I said.
It's coming. Sorry, my laptop is like really good now. It's coming. Sorry, my laptop is like really good now.
Is it kind of clear to everyone what was just done?
Sorry, my laptop is like really good now.
No, I'm just asking because it's like you can hear us talking, right? So
It's coming.
we just sampled a bunch of stuff that just happened.
It's coming. Sorry, my laptop is like really good now.
So that microphone could have been any input. It could have been this device, a computer, etc. Guitar. But not a guitar, no. Except a synth guitar. The birds are always good, the waves, the owls, just the stillness.
I said. I have like other things.
It's coming.
Oh, I said. I have like other things.
It's coming.
Oh, I said. I have like other things.
It's coming.
Oh, I said. I have like other things.
It's coming.
Oh, I said. I have like other things.
It's coming.
Oh, I said. I have like other things.
It's coming.
Oh, I said. I have like other things.
It's coming.
Oh, I said. I have like other things.
It's coming.
Oh.
Technology pill.
GoodRx can save you a lot of money. Americans everywhere are sharing the savings. Save up to 80% on your prescriptions with GoodRx. Download the
So we're sampling ads from YouTube right now.
You have a whole entire fucking bass line or whatever. Take some stuff out of
Either we are actually getting pushed up a little bit by the ice, somehow getting, you know, compressed, or what I think is more likely is that the boat is just so light right now because we are on our last reserves with the food, or well, we still have plenty of food, but not, you know, that much.
All winter
and then
in the ice and
all of the
Greenland.
tanks are empty.
Really, they help me sleep.
No diesel, no water. People always ask us, you know, if the boat is getting compressed by the ice. When
Yeah,
it's a static
take a few
situation like this, you know,
samples
the
That's a
ice
really
here,
nice
it's not
accent.
moving. It's just, you know, it just freezes. It's not going to
Very
like
romantic.
crush you. The problem is if there's drifting ice, if the masses of ice are moving or something like that.
Why would you do
That
this
will
to
eventually
yourself?
happen
Like,
in the
honestly,
spring when it breaks up.
I'd rather die.
But yeah, what I think is mostly about it. Then obviously we do have a plan, but let's see. Actually over there, I can see how the ice is moving. So it's breaking up little by little and the current is taking it out.
There's the yeah, there we go. That was the money shot. Snowmobile.
Our snowmobile had. We do have a plan, but let's see. Actually over there, I can see how the ice is moving. So it's breaking up little by little and the current is taking it out.
Okay, so we've captured the samples of the travel vlog, and now we are editing them on the 404.
Of the sample, right?
So that it keeps playing we just without having to hold down the pad. There's using different kinds of like start modes with samplers where it's like you have like a gate, so you have to hold down the pad to get the sound to play, or like a through where you just hit it once and it plays the whole sample.
What I think is more likely is the boat is just so light right now. Situation like this, we are last reserves just the food, or so we still have plenty of food. Yeah, we looked at not, you know, that much, and then no diesel, no water. sit galna sjausti skingirpseni. Hänenpä hilseen viljumät. Välttämättä pasongi muukaan siellä. Vasi säämät sisälläkin tyhtset. Visimme orta hovissar. Hengi boomfatki. Höi sieltä alpedoini sit galna sjausti skingirpseni. Hänenpä hilseen viljumät. Välttämättä pasongi muukaan siellä. Vasi säämät sisälläkin tyhtset. Visimme orta hovissar.
CY Pods is America's #1 container moving company. Whether you're relocating or renovating, save up to 30% at pods.com today. .com today. Ready for .com today. Sunshine. See what's trending. .com today. .com today.
Younger, I heard that if you played the records backwards, you would hear satanic messages. So I was pretty interested in getting on some technology to make that easier.
.com today. .com today. .com today. Yeah, this market. 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 Yeah, this market.com today. 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 Yeah, this market.com today.
Press this button called pitch speed, and you just turn this knob.
Gotcha.
And when
Yeah, this market.
So it can be like higher.
Yeah, this market.
it can, and you can even press this button and voice. That was your question. Yeah.
Thank you.
No water.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah.
For Ralph Bird out of Portland, Oregon.
Thanks.
We have a little band together. We're gonna work on the album.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool. Next up, we got Eliza on the Ableton.